Hi and welcome. Today we're catching up with a lot of cool people today, and I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves. Let's start off with Terrence Stewart. How are you doing, Terrence?
What's up, man? I'm still Terrence Stewart, T-Nut, the Nutty Professor. Glad to be back in the house with KUCR 88.3. You know what I mean, on the FM dial. I'm Terrence Stewart. I work with nonprofits, Time Done, the Phenomenon. And I'm the membership and engagement manager. Yep.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Sean LaFleur. What's cracking? UCR 88.3. You guys FM? It's FM station? Oh yeah, we really getting that popping today, man. I'm from All of Us or None, a community organization that deals with formerly incarcerated people, creating economic stability, pushing legislation, and doing all kinds of community work. And I'm a community organizer with All of Us or None. Thank you for having me.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Fidel Chagoya. I'm an organizer with Riverside All of a Sudden, also a UCR alumni and a member of Underground Scholars, statewide leader. What's up?
How y'all doing? I'm Marcus Woods. I am the founder of Unitee, an organization that is intent on removing options of violence and incarceration from young lives. We're just here to do everything we can for the community, man, and that's what we do.
And what's happening, everybody? Glad to be here with all these phenomenal leaders. My name is Gilbert Johnson. I'm the California Time Done manager, and I work with Time Done, which is a national anti-poverty movement working to change laws, change records, and change lives, improve lives. Like in a nutshell, that's what we're doing. That's what we committed to. Glad to be here again.
Cool. Great. Glad y'all can be here. And I just want to start off with, with the holidays coming up and everything, and I know you've been doing a lot of events. What kind of events and campaigns have y'all been doing?
Well, for Riverside, All of Us, and we just finished giving away about gifts to 5 families. So what we did is we went out to the community and we tried to reach the people who needed it the most. And we tried to, provide the kids some gifts. There's a lot of people out here due to the pandemic, that just couldn't make it, and they're just trying to sustain. So what we do, because we're active, we believe in our community. We didn't want to go through no other channels. We want to be the direct connect to a good Christmas for as many people as we can help. So Fidel and myself went out there. We hit the pavement, man. Went and talked to people, reached out to the entire Riverside. We chose some families, and we're still trying to help even to this day. But that's, as far as the holiday giveaway, that's what we did.
Nice.
Go
ahead.
I like to echo off what Sean was saying. Yeah, we went out there and were able to get some families signed up. We're off of University in Chicago. We're downtown Riverside. We're by Patterson Park. We're in Rubidoux. Just going out there on foot, getting people to sign up. A lot of families came. It was a great outcome. The kids were so happy. We had some games there. We had a little circle of kids coloring and drawing. So it was a really good environment and a good atmosphere that day.
So for me, I am what they would call the hood Santa. And I kind of, weed for 175 kids exactly. We did the Angel Tree, which are kids whose mother or father or both are currently incarcerated. So they don't get forgot, and make sure that somebody is right there, kind of being there for them as well.
Yeah, and excuse the noise in the background. Y'all know it's Christmas break, and I got a gang of babies, so they're gonna be running in and out. As much as I try to keep them at bay, it just don't work that way. But yeah, so this past weekend, I was able to support one of our crime survivors and Time Done delegates, Danielle Dancer. Big shout out to Danielle for always being on the forefront out in the Anaheim area. And she was able to organize a Black Christmas event, which was more of a networking event. And so we were there signing up folks for our Time Done delegate program, letting folks know about the free resources that we'll be launching and bringing to the community, specifically for formerly incarcerated folks. And yeah, it was kids there. It was free COVID testing. It was healthy health, education, and all of that. And then yesterday, shout out to my BLM family. I'm from South Central, so I went back to the neighborhood and they gave out thousands of gifts. And we had African drum circles. It was in Lamert Park in Africa Town. So that was just such a beautiful Black centric event that I'm still up in the clouds from that event. I took my kids out there. They loved it. And it was amazing. So yeah, it was great stuff happening this weekend. And shout out to all y'all for helping the families and the kids. It's a lot of people struggling right now. So we on the front lines, connecting with our people. So yeah.
Yeah, and I just wanted to highlight this. If y'all didn't know before, is we're all people living with past convictions that's out here making a difference. And that's significant because like a lot of times we have stigma and everything of that nature, but these people that I'm working with, they done done more positive work than I know people who have never got a record in a day of their life. You know what I mean? So like, man, I'm honored to be in the same circle with them, man, and in the sea, because I went to these events. I participated one way or another in some type of way in all these events, and I seen with my own two eyes, the reward that these children got when they got these toys, like the toys that All of Us or None had got. These were top of the line WWE, talking about the real good stuff. You know what I mean? Like that's going to bring somebody joy on Christmas. You know what I mean? And the same thing with Marcus. Marcus did this on G Street in San Bernardino off of G and 10th. You know what I mean? Where like he in a community where a lot of people don't even want to go, but he's bringing joy to that community. You know what I mean? And like my heart just completely goes out to them. The work that they doing in Orange County, they don't need no help. They need more help, and like that's real, and for me, the reason why it's so special is because I know what it is to not get nothing for Christmas. You know what I mean? Straight up, and when you don't get nothing for Christmas and everybody else around you do, you feel lower about yourself. So you know what I mean? So like this year right here, this brought so many, I've seen it, it brought so much hope to so many different people, even to the point where my daughter said, and I'm gonna shut up after this, but my daughter said, man, Daddy, Santa Claus ain't real. And I said, yes, he is. It's Marcus Woods up in this, you know what I mean? That's real, And, you know what I mean? And like all his helpers and everything else, you know what I mean, was there. Like we brought the North Pole to the IE, you know what I mean, to the Orange County and to Los Angeles. People with past convictions. So man, straight up, man, my heart goes out to all of y'all, man, straight up. And we don't even know how many people we really impacted, but man, there's a whole lot of people touched from these people right here,
Yeah, thank you, Terrence. I think it's very important that we highlight, the work that all of us are doing for one, because it's a stigma out there, it's a narrative out there that we don't want to do good, right? Or that we're bad and that we're incorrigible. But guess what? That was never the truth. I wanted to do good before I did wrong. I just didn't see an opportunity. So once I became older, and I think this is all of us, and once we figured out how to make some good happen, we committed to that good. But it's not just us, it's so many people in our communities. And that's why it's important that we connect with people like at UCR, the students, the staff, and you guys see what we can do, because it's up to us to change our own narrative and to make our own communities work and highlight our own communities. And that's what we're doing out here. We taking back our own narrative, and we're gonna support our own communities. But we also appreciate the help of the students and the staff at UCR.
I think I want to piggyback on that a little bit. There's a saying that goes, pay it forward, but paying it forward isn't enough. Sometimes we gotta take the time to be who we are and remember where we came from. Doesn't necessarily mean where we grew up, and we gotta take care of those that surround us. Like you said, it's time to change the narrative. For the longest time, they've been telling us how to live, man, and we gotta, take that step forward and begin to live how we're supposed to live,
Exactly.
No, absolutely. I mean, so y'all have been doing a lot of different projects and campaigns, working with other formerly incarcerated people. what have y'all been doing? I know you've been active up and down the state, across the country. You know, any updates on that? You know, Terrence, everybody else?
Hey, these guys right here, man, when you ask that question, man, you got freedom fighters right here, man. You know, we the ones right here that's, you know, we serious about the people. We doing what we gotta do for the people. You know, when I always like to say, man, if I can't do it, I know somebody who can, man. And these is the dudes that I call most times when I need it, you know. And just the other day, I called Sean about somebody who needed some help, and he jumped on it. You know, he was the first one to even speak up. You know, so things like that, man. It's time for us to build a narrative where we are at the forefront, and here it is. You know, it's just simple and plain. What you asking is right in this circle right here. Terrence do, you know, he's the I call him the big connector, Mr. President, right? Yeah. And you know, without T around, most of these circles wouldn't even be happening, man, because a lot of people are connected through that guy right there.
Yeah, and to the point around narrative, I know y'all been hearing what's in the mainstream media. You know, it's a couple sayings that he who controls the narrative controls the people. She who controls the narrative controls the mind, the world, so on and so forth. And it's a dominant narrative out there right now that folks like us are out here just going crazy, committing crime. They said LA was like the purge. And of course, this was from the Police Protective League, the people who fundraising for the police and protecting the police, regardless if they murder somebody, so on and so forth. I ain't gonna go down that rabbit hole, but we have to, the next year, a huge part of our work with Time Done, and I know all the organizations here, is really elevating who we really are, humanizing our existence. You know, we are not our old mistake. You know, that shouldn't be held over our head for something we did 1 year, 5 year, 10 years ago. Yet so many of our people are being held back from succeeding in life and progressing in life because of what we call collateral consequences. And so Time Done is saying just that. Our time is done. Enough is enough. Stop holding us back. And we building a movement that's not only just passing laws, because we got Senate Bill 731, we got Senate Bill 81, we got SB 262, we got about 5 more bills that we adding to our bill package next year dealing with fair housing, you know, housing discrimination. Next year is gonna be big, y'all, and we need all hands on deck. I repeat, all hands on deck. Everybody getting involved to help us lead this work and continue winning and moving us away from a lot of the racist laws and policies that created many of the conditions folks like us grew up in, you know. And so stay tuned, tap in to all of these great organizations, because we doing the work. We ain't just talking about it, we being about it, you know.
Facts.
Yeah, that's right. And I also want to highlight just a little bit off of what Gilbert was talking about, because us as the game changers and you guys as students and staff as at a prolific university, like, we have to identify and understand what system we're pushing, like what narrative are we subscribing to, because a lot of times that, you know, we don't realize that we're unconsciously pushing something that's been here for years. So if we keep unconsciously pushing that, why are we gonna get the same results? So I'm even talking about how you guys select y'all students, how you guys select y'all leaders. I want to see more formerly incarcerated people at UCR. I want to see all of us or none and Time Done. I want to have events at UCR. You know, we need to create an entire new narrative, and it's all inclusive, not all exclusive. You know,
right? You got to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's the real way. Because I mean, for me, my motto is every day is every day. So every day is Christmas. You know. And like with these people, like how they said, they're blessing people right now, but they bless people all year around. You know, the whole Live Free framework, you know, underground scholars, you know, Time Done, you know, and Gilbert gave you the gist of it, but like we helping people with financial wellness. You know, Sean was part of the Time Done financial wellness courses. You know, we're going to help people get their records clear. We're getting people, we're talking about careers for people with past convictions, not just jobs, but careers where people could get health care. And also, like, you know, to the point where, like, you know, with all this trauma that's going on, be able to see see counseling and everything of that nature. You know, it's like we're trying to help the whole person here. You know what I mean? Because like what happens is our community has been hurt from all this oppression, you know, but you know, it's time for a change. And see, what I truly believe in, right, is that the people who actually change their lives knows what it takes to cause the change. So this is what you got on this call. You're on a call with a bunch of people who have just changed their life. And now that they didn't change their life, they're in the community, changing their communities, you know? And this is what we take. This is what we need to invest in. We need to invest. If you want to invest in some change and safety, you have to invest in people like us that understand what change is and understand what change takes so that we can make the change in our communities, you know? Yep.
Yeah, so you asked what we're working on. Currently, we're working on protect children, restore families. We're working on a CPS rally, statewide rally to transform child protective services. So a lot of times when we have records and stuff, our children are being adopted out because of our past convictions. So what we're doing is we're challenging those things. We're creating laws. So like SB 354 was passed in October. It was signed by the governor to keep families together. Originally, if your child was in foster care and family members wanted to get them out, relatives wanted to get them out, they weren't able to because of past records have nothing to do with caring for a child. So we fought for a bill, which was SB 354, which is the relative family placement, and it was signed by the governor. We won that. So now people with records will be able to get their children, their grandchildren out of foster care because of SB 354. And that gets implemented this fiscal year coming up. So right now we're working on a statewide rally. It's going to be at the state of Capitol in Sacramento on January 18th. We have you can register at bit.ly/crush CPS rally, and we're providing transportation, hotel, and food to represent our new bills that we're going to be working on this year.
Hey, can you share that link real quick for them in the chat?
Okay, let me see how sectavy I can get right now, but I'm gonna try to do it right now. If not, I'll email you.
So you're looking.
I know, Gilbert, you also mentioned a lot of different bills and things like that. Would you like to talk about it briefly? Because you listed a lot.
Yeah. So Senate Bill 731. Hold on, son. Hold on. Senate Bill 731 is our sunsets bill. When we first cracked off at the beginning of the year, when we launched in March, it was one I argue to say it was the most progressive bill when it comes to criminal justice reform, because it would have completely cleaned. It still will, but now it's for folks that had crimes that didn't end up in prison time, so it's low level offenses now. At the beginning of the year, we were shooting to get almost everybody free by completely cleaning and sealing their records. As long as you've done your time, you paid your debt, you got off probation, parole, and like a 2-year period, you haven't committed any new crimes, you'll get your record completely cleaned and sealed. And that was Senate Bill 731. We got caught up in the assembly side and they watered it down and we got gutted. So millions of people will still be impacted by that bill, but it's just for lower level felonies and misdemeanors. So next year we'll be coming back with the stronger version to make sure we're re-including folks that you may have had a strong arm robbery or what's deemed a violent felony. Right now we make mistakes. We got people that's 60 years old still suffering from something they did back in the crack cocaine era when it was madness and mayhem everywhere. And so this bill would have said, like, even if you did murder somebody 30 years ago, you still have action at getting your record completely cleaned and sealed, because these collateral consequences are doing more harm than they are good. Like people are trying to advance, trying to do right, but being denied jobs, being denied housing, can't sell real estate or, sell. I remember I couldn't sell Primerica insurance, like, helping my people on a path towards financial freedom. I couldn't even do it because I had a felony. And so it's like it's doing more harm. Plus the economic impacts, we lose like 21 billion a year just in the state of California, due to, you know, folks suffering from these barriers, what I call systemic barriers. And so Senate Bill 731, we hit the ground running in January. We know we're gonna get it passed. It's gonna be dope. But for other bills next year, there's a bill that we're working to protect Proposition 47, and I don't want to get too much into like you know the language and what it did, but it was an amazing bill. It was a game changer for so many people across the state. It's generated millions of dollars towards youth development, mental health services, victims of crime services, and so yeah, there's a bill around there. There's a decarceration policy that we're working on. I mean, certificate of rehabilitation, like yeah, some of the stuff we're working on don't even have a bill name yet. Like it's not even a number attached to it, but a lot of it is aimed at just removing the barriers that are holding so many people's 8 million people across the state of California and 80 to 100 million people across the nation living with old convictions that, you know, are being held back and locked down, locked into this paper prison. So that's that really our focus at Time Done is all around justice reform and getting our people free.
Elliot, I want to talk a little bit off of what Gilbert was speaking on, mainly the economic impact of these new pieces of legislation, right? Because there are a lot of people who will say we don't deserve to have a second chance, or we made a mistake and we got to live with it like everybody else. So, you know, we need to revisit what he said as far as the billions of dollars being lost, people who are paying taxes for people who can't sustain themselves. Now, we have to ask, would I rather take care of Gilbert with my money, or would I rather Gilbert take care of himself? And sometimes it's just that simple. You know, regardless of what Gilbert has done, regardless of what Ashawn has done, right? It should be my God-given right to take care of myself. And also, while I'm taking care of myself, to repair the harm in which I've done. So what's happening with these collateral consequences is that we're not having chances to, one, take care of myself. And then number two, like he said, I can't even repair the harm. I can't even pass down my knowledge to my own community. So what does that do, not just for a community, what does that do for the state of California, right? What does that even do for Inland Empire, which is mainly consisted of people of color? Like, we have to ask ourselves these important questions before we start to cast just superficial judgments on people in their lives and why they did do or what they did not do. Because we all have a right to sustain ourselves. And let's face it, California is an expensive state to live in.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
I just wrote this down right here. It says, communities must be committed to building internal capacity to respond effectively to issues related within their immediate spaces. Right now, we're dealing with, the fact that, and I'm speaking on the formerly incarcerated, right? It has to be a space where people coming home every day. You got folks who had formerly life, 50 years, 60 years, did 40. You got a lot of people coming home which aren't in the same mindset as the communities we see. And that goes for those who work for, these politicians, those who work for these police buildings and aren't in uniform. Those are the spaces in which we need change. We got to have people which aren't in those authoritative spots who understand, and that includes everything else. If we don't get to those spaces where everybody understands the narrative and they're willing to change it, it'll never be changed. And that's where we need more people involved in the spaces that we're in.
Yeah, my motto, we don't need no help. We need more help. We need your help,
So in the last 5 minutes, what are y'all looking toward? I mean, you kind of talked about it, but 2022, what are some upcoming projects, something that you're looking forward to, and what people can expect?
I'm looking forward to you know, like the simple fact, like we said, we're changing records. I'll be glad when like records clear themselves. You know, see, for me, and this is what I say all the time, is that every time I get my record check, it's for something I'm trying to do positive. If I'm trying to get a job, you know, they give me a record check. If I try to go into an apartment, they give me a record check. If I try to adopt my own cousins and nephews and all this other stuff, they give me a record check. A lot of times when we get in these record checks, it's for upward mobility, you know, and this is what we're being denied, you know, and people don't realize it. They be like, oh, it's dangerous and you should give people a chance like this. But like, we are trying adamantly to do better, you know, and what the roadblock is that they gave us these collateral consequences of criminal conviction, you know, and they want to hold them over our heads to we're over 99 years, you know. And the question is, when is enough enough? So what I'm looking forward to is automatic record clearances for my loved ones so that we can all reach our full potential and stop being held back.
That's what's up. Let me echo that. Sean here. I'm looking forward to, once again, the passing of SB 731. I'm looking forward to passing of ACA 3, which will end involuntary servitude inside state prisons so people can really focus on education and rehabilitate themselves. There was a bill that just passed that where they're trying to focus more on education inside incarceration. And I'm focusing on the CPS rally January 18th. And I'm also focusing on UCR, collaborating with Marcus Woods, going into some of those high schools with the youth in San Bernardino and figuring out a fast track and access to how to get from San Bernardino high schools out there in the Inland Empire, working with the youth of Marcus Woods into a UCR freshman year. Let's bypass a junior college. Go right to university.
Sorry what he said. So basically, you know, real talk, we do allow and offer internships to those of you who actually want to come see it for yourself and build that same narrative that Sean was saying. You know, trying to figure out how we can get the access, the resources, the understanding, the knowledge to the kids on the level under, you know, and if that's not, you know, where you need to be at, you know, then, you know, you don't need to be there, but we need your help, you know. So if you want the opportunity to be able to work with some of these youth in the community, then, you know, get my email. I left it in the chat, my website in the chat, all that. And, you know, hit me up and we can figure that out.
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead, bro.
we're just focusing on, you know, having equal access, just like everyone else, you know, to employment opportunities, to licensing. We're being charged for, we're paying for our degrees. We're going to school. We're getting educated as much as we can, and we're trying to get these opportunities opened up, but we have barriers. We're not able to get licenses in certain areas after we've been out for a while. So when is it ever going to end?
Mm-hmm.
Time done.
Time enough is enough. When is enough gonna really be enough? When will our sentence end? And so Marcus signed me up because I did a lot of that in LA, but now I'm out here in SB with y'all. So Sean, I look forward to supporting your work. I'm just really excited about the collaboration that we're gonna build next year. Californians for Safety and Justice just launched REPAC, the Reentry Providers Association in California, and it's the largest reentry network of reentry service providers in history, you know, and a lot of folks on this call are part of that. There's just so much collaboration happening. When we work together, we get more accomplished. Another key focus of ours is going to be getting money directed to the organizations that's doing the work. So Unitee, all of us are not, you know, like all the gang interventionists I work with back in South Central, getting more money to fund community driven peace building work that doesn't rely on hooking and booking, you know, mass incarceration, you know, more traumatization. It relies on the strengths and the assets that are in the community, you know, youth development, gang prevention, intervention, like more park programs and access. Like we have plans to do all of that. And we've been doing it, but we're gonna go even bigger next year and the years to come. So stay tuned.
Oh, God.
And where can people find more information about the work that you all have been doing?
The best way to contact Riverside All of Us or None is on Instagram. Riverside All of Us or None.
And you can go on Instagram also and spell out the word Unity Speaks. Unity being with 3 E's instead of a Y. Or you can, like I said, I left my email, my website in the chat. Hopefully somebody can capture it and show you guys. I'll post it again before we get up out of here. But www.unitee.org. You can look on there, man, see all the good stuff we do. I appreciate y'all having me here for one.
Yeah, and I just dropped all the info in the chat too. So tap in, got the phone number, the website, the whole get in. Very accessible, out here in these streets.
Out here in these streets.
Factory.
Yep, and you can look us up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, all of that. You know what I mean? You can find the hashtag 1 word time done. You can find the hash word Unitee with 3 E's. Same thing with Riverside, all of us or none. You can find it, Underground Scholars, and all of that. You can look us up on social media. That's always a good way to connect. We're very much responsive on these different platforms. Marcus got unitee.org. You know what I mean? So please tap into these websites, because like I said before, we don't need no help. We need more help. We need your help. California has been massive for mass incarceration. Like he said, over 8 million people are living with past convictions here in California. That 8 million people. 8 million people by itself would make us the 13th largest state in America, just for the people living in California with past convictions. So my question is, what state does that put us in? If we have all of these different barriers and how it's doing to the GDP and everything else. So, it ain't really helping. It ain't really helping just us. It's helping yourself. It's helping the community. It's helping us. Communities have taxes and everything else to have benefits for our community. And I'm a taxpayer too, so I'll be wanting my money to, like you said, to help Gilbert or help you be on your own, Sean. You know what I mean? Because I pay enough taxes. I pay my taxes is the second highest bill I got next to rent. So that's why it matters to me, because I'm spending a whole lot of money and I've got a whole lot of barriers. You know what I mean? I can't even enjoy fully. So all in all, I hope we free a lot of people from all these different barriers. And we provide next year, when we have this conversation, a whole lot of people will have a whole lot of a merrier Christmas.
Well, thank you, Terrence, Sean, Fidel, Gilbert, Marcus. It's been a pleasure talking with you all.
Thank you, Fungus.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate y'all. Surely. All right, peace, y'all.